Our next presentation this evening will be our physical education, athletics, and health services. So I'd like to invite up Robb Webb. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for so patiently waiting.
Good evening. Tonight I will be highlighting the Department of Physical Education, Athletics, and Health Services and the components that make up our budget in addition to the budget. We're also going to highlight some of the achievements because it's about the students, some ongoing initiatives, and our vision for continued success in fostering student athletes who excel both on and off the field. The first part of the presentation is kind of where Mike ended, but we're going to start, and that's with our department staffing. Our department includes one administrator, being myself, one senior office assistant, which is our office secretary in athletics. We have one athletic trainer, 8 instructional staff members, which include our 6 full-time physical education teachers, 2 at each building, 1 physical and health education teacher that's split between the middle school and the high school, and then we have 1 full-time health teacher here at the high school. We also have 4 school nurses, 1 in each building, and then we have a floating nurse that fills in when our nurses are out, as well as when they go on field trips and things of that nature. There's no change to any of that staffing. We also oversee all of our coaches in the district. We are adding 2 coaching positions in the spring. Our fall will remain the same at 26 coaches, winter at 18 coaches, and then the 2 additions in the spring will be due to the addition of girls varsity flag football, which we'll be bringing to the district. And then we also have 1 seasonal game day coordinator who works each game during each season, and there'll be no change to that position either. So to break down our athletic program offerings, starting with the fall. This fall, our athletic programs experienced tremendous success and growth. We had 2 section champions, we had multiple league champions, 1 regional, and 1 state finalist. Next year, we plan to continue the same sport offerings during our fall season. That includes 8 varsity programs, one of those being a merger that was approved earlier tonight. That's in the sport of girls swimming. We have 5 JV offerings and 5 modified offerings. During our fall, we had approximately 380 students involved in our program this fall, which year to year, that was about a 15% increase from the previous year. So we're seeing good growth within our sports. It's also important to highlight that of our fall programs, 6 of our varsity programs were recognized as scholar athlete programs, meaning that collectively their GPA was a 90% or above. So our student athletes continue to excel both in competition and in the classroom, and it demonstrates the positive impact and how important it is to have a well-supported athletic program. In the winter, which we are currently in right now, just some highlights as we continue. We're very proud to highlight that we had our first female Section 1 champion as of yesterday, and 2 of our female student athletes, 2 of our wrestlers, have qualified for the state championship. So on February 27th, they'll be going to Albany to compete for a state championship at MVP Arena. Wow. While we're still in the winter season, we've also had multiple league champions, and postseason play for most of our sports will be beginning next week over the break. So even though most people are home, our student athletes will still be here almost every day next week. During the winter, we're also going to keep it like the fall. There's no additions, no changes. We're going to continue with 8 varsity programs. 3 of our varsity programs are merged, our boys ice hockey program, girls ice hockey, and boys swimming. And then we also have a merger at the modified level, and that's for boys ice hockey. We'll continue to have 4 JV programs, as well as 5 modified programs in the winter. This winter, we have about 300 student athletes involved across all of our sports program, which, like the fall, was an increase. We had a 10% increase in involvement from last year to this year. We also just found out today that each one of our varsity programs is going to qualify to be a scholar athlete program for the winter. So that means every one of our varsity programs has a collective average of 90 or above.
That's good.
So these accomplishments again reflect the ongoing dedication of our student athletes and our coaches, both in their athletic performance and their academic success. So we're excited for the remainder of the season, and hopefully we continue to have success over the next couple of weeks. Moving on to our spring programs and our spring athletic offerings. As you can see, we have one highlighted in green up there. That is the new program that we will be offering, where we will have the 2 additional coaches at the varsity level. Other than that, there will be no changes. We'll offer 7 varsity programs, 3 JV programs, and 5 modified programs, and none of our spring programs are merged. They're all in-house here at Putnam Valley. So last spring, we had approximately 300 student athletes, and we're hoping that we continue the trend to increase participation in our athletic programs. A little shameless plug here, registration for spring sports opens this Saturday, February 15th, for our varsity and JV, and March 1st for our modified programs.
Is flag football boys and girls, or oh, you said girls? Okay,
Track and field?
No, flag football.
Flag
just
football
girls.
is a girls' sport.
Okay.
So it's an emerging sport. It's now a state championship sport. It's only been around for about 3 or 4 years, but where there were 0 programs 4 years ago, we're now up in the high 30s, almost 40 schools across the section that are competing.
I want to give you credit, Coach. Anybody who watched the Super Bowl saw that flag football commercial where they were, pushing it and saying, let's make this a varsity sport. Well, we're doing that. And congratulations to you and the department for initiating that. I think it's important.
It's a testament to our students because they advocated strong for themselves and we explored it. And, unfortunately, we're going to be able to make that become a reality for our student athletes.
That's outstanding. Thank
Where do
you.
they play? Where do we have space for the flag football?
They'll play on our turf field. So
Okay.
it's a modified field from the actual football field. It's a little narrower. It's 100 yards long with 10 yards of touchdowns and 80 yards of playing field. So we'll manage our space in the spring, and they'll play all of their home games on our turf. And it's very similar to a lacrosse or a soccer schedule where it'll be 16 games. So most years we'll have 8 home and 8 away.
Great.
Thank
So
you.
their timing is actually exceptional because, most of the turfs in this region are not lined for girls flag football, because why would they use the same lines? That would be entirely too easy. So we'd have separate lines. Because of the timing of our turf, we have the opportunity to actually
that.
have those lines built into the new turf that'll be
Yeah,
installed
that's
this
good.
summer.
So going more in depth into the budget, our budget component is really broken into 4 areas, which includes stipends and hourly workers, which includes our coaching staff and support staff for our games, which includes the chaperones who staff all of our home games. We also have contractual costs. Those costs cover expenses related to coaching, conference, and state dues, as well as reconditioning for our equipment. We send it out each year to ensure that it passes all of the safety inspections. And it also includes events and tournaments that we participate in each year. The third area is BOCES, which includes our Section 1 dues, official fees, our Huddle streaming services that we use, and our student athlete registration system. Last on that list, you'll see Final Forms, which is a student athlete registration system, and we'll be moving on from Family ID, hopefully, in the fall to Final Forms, and that just will provide us a few more opportunities that I'll talk about on the next slide. We also have our material and supplies cost, which covers the cost of uniforms, game and practice equipment, required safety equipment, and anything we would need for our athletic training department, and their materials and their supplies to cover all of those athletic training issues. These components ensure that our athletic programs are properly supported while also ensuring safety, quality, and growth in our student athletes. So our budget goals, when we build out our budget, our goals are related to opportunity, equity, safety, and sustainability. We want to provide programs that promote student well-being and develop and ensure that we meet the diverse needs of all of our students. We want to ensure equitable access to the resources that our department has and opportunities across all programs so that our programs receive the necessary support. Safety, we're going to continue to prioritize adequate and safe equipment as well as safe facilities to protect the health and well-being of our student athletes. And finally, we want to utilize our resources in a way that maximize impact and ensure long-term sustainability, helping our programs thrive well into the future. So anticipated expenses. When we look at the anticipated expenses, these are the areas where we might see a slight increase in the upcoming budget. Our coaching stipends, which are in line with the Putnam Valley teachers contract, those coaching stipends are going to increase slightly year to year. We have dues and official fees, which all come through BOCES in Section 1. Those fees are all going to increase, and that affects every member school in Section 1. Materials and supplies, we anticipate that there's going to be a continued increase as we see in everyday items for our equipment, supplies, uniforms, and our safety gear. And then final forms, which we're moving on to as an enhanced student-athlete registration system, but it also does a lot more than that. So it will do our student-athlete registration just as Family ID does now, but it also tracks our coaching certification. It serves as a communication platform between coaches and our families. If our coaches use it for attendance, it's an automatic email to the parent. And it also features an inventory management system, so we'll be able to track all of our inventory. When we hand out a uniform to a student, it's automatically assigned to a student. So at the end of the season, we know exactly who has what uniform and when it comes back to us.
Awesome.
So anticipated savings. When we look at savings, there are a few areas. One, we talk about materials and supplies, and that's final forms. Having that inventory system, being able to track our athletic inventory, we're going to have real-time data, which is going to enable us to eliminate redundant, unnecessary expenses and improve our efficiency in managing the department as a whole. We're also going to continue to utilize state contracted vendors for our best prices on materials and supplies, and new to our district, we now have access to ed data for purchasing, so that's also going to allow us to get state bid items and get the lowest cost items for all of the things that we buy. So these initiatives are going to help us maximize the impact of our budget by reducing unnecessary costs while maintaining the quality of our athletic programs. Boosters and fundraising. We're very fortunate to have multiple avenues that help offset the costs to our families and to our district, ensuring that our athletic program remains sustainable and impactful. Our teams work closely with the Booster Club, our coaches work closely with the Booster Club, and they engage in yearly fundraising efforts. We also have tournaments each year. We had a wrestling tournament that was a great success. We had 12 other districts here. Cheerleading held 2 tournaments this year, one in the fall where we had almost 30 different teams participate, and then another one in the winter with over 20, and those are great fundraisers. Enough so, as an example, that our cheerleading program raised enough funds to compete at nationals in Florida just last week. There was no cost to the family, no cost to the district. That was their travel, their hotel, their food, their entrance fee, everything. So all of their hard work paid off through fundraising, and there was no cost to the district or their families.
Outstanding.
We also operate a superstore for team and school apparel, and all of those fundraising proceeds go directly back into our teams. So if they need something additional that's outside of the budget, all of those fundraising things help us to get those things for our student athletes.
Coach, any idea when the spring superstore will be open?
We're looking right now. We're finalizing it. Hopefully next week or the week after.
Oh,
we're
good.
gonna open it for a clip until March 1st.
Okay.
So that anybody that participates in a spring sport will be able to have it when the season starts. And then we're going to open it again on the first day of tryouts for people that aren't sure if they're going to play, so that once they do make a team, they'll have an opportunity to still order it. It'll just come during the season as opposed to before the season.
Outstanding. Thank you.
So these efforts play a crucial role in offsetting costs and ensuring that our athletic programs can continue to thrive while keeping costs manageable for our families as well as the district. And the last thing I wanted to highlight, while it's really outside of our budget, and it was something that was covered in the last board presentation, curriculum and professional development, I've been working closely with our director of curriculum to ensure that we're providing the best and most comprehensive education in our physical and health education classrooms. Right now, we're currently piloting in our middle and high school physical education classes a program called Platform, which is designed to enhance fitness education, but also to improve student engagement. So our phys ed teachers had a professional development on their last professional development day, and they're also starting to utilize that in their classroom as well. And then we're also exploring a new K-12 curriculum called Health Smart with our health teachers. They're reviewing it right now, and that's a skills-based health education program that empowers our students to think, choose, and act in healthy ways. And finally, professional development. I continue to work with our director of curriculum for professional development opportunities that are meaningful and specific to our physical and health education teachers. So we're going to continue to look for opportunities that are specific to phys ed and health for next school year.
And both of those curricula would be covered in the budget for curriculum and instruction?
Correct, yes, and all things that we've already explored going into next year.
Okay.
And I know it's easy to focus on high school and middle school as a feeder, but I like that you're going to bring the health to the, starting in kindergarten. I think that that's really key. So, I'm glad to see that in your budget.
And the program platform that we're exploring for middle and high school right now doesn't offer an elementary curriculum, but by the fall of -- they're going to be coming out with an elementary curriculum.
Nice.
Good.
So we wanted to explore the program first to see if it met the needs of our students before we move forward with it, but it could. And it's also in BOCES, so it's aidable and all of that. You know, we benefit from that too when it goes through
Awesome.
BOCES.
Nice.
That's great.
Good work, yeah.
So that's all I have for you. Thank you.
It's excellent.
Thank you very
Coach.
I do have a
Thank you.
question, but it's not budget related.
Sure.
I was asked, I want to confirm that the middle school students are using the wellness center.
They are. They are using it for physical education. So they have been coming over throughout the winter because they like to get outside. But, you know, unfortunately, we have a lot of snow out there and ice. So they have made way over, and they coordinate with our high school physical education teachers to make sure that they can work around each other, and both programs get to use the wellness center.
How about any classrooms? Any class?
There have been some teachers, not specific to the middle school for me, but I know the high school teachers reach out regularly to see if they can use it. A lot of our science studies, they try to do experiments in there just to have the space that they may not have in the classroom. So they've worked with our physical education teachers to use the wellness center as well.
Okay. Because the question I received was the classroom work in the wellness center, so.
Yeah. We're open to exploring any ideas, so if they
Great.
reach out and they need access, we can definitely be creative with our scheduling.
I'm happy to hear that. Thank you. Great job. Thank you.
Coach, what day is the Wall of Honor, you know, where you present all the scholar athletes?
So
It's in June?
Yes, right now it's targeted at June 18th.
June 18th.
Because we don't have school on the 19th, and June gets really tight with all the events. So it was an opportunity where kids didn't have a Regents the next day or school, so we hope to get really good turnout. So June 18th is the date for that.
Good, thank you.
So I just want to say that all three of my kids love physical education in this district, and for a 9th grade girl to love physical education, that's like a really amazing accomplishment. So great work there. My kids look forward to going to PE, and so that's really exciting. I love that we're moving to final forms. That's going to be a huge help, where we keep everything in one place. I mean, students' physical, like all the information just goes in one place. I think that's really helpful for parents. And the communication platform on final forms is excellent, so I'm super excited about that. Question for you: how are students in the middle school, for example, 6th moving into 7th, how are they informed about the modified sports that they are able to do?
So I have a plan for the spring to work with Mr. McCarty to schedule some sort of assembly with our 6th and 7th graders to inform them, and I'll also give them a handout to bring home to their families. We're also going to try to just improve the communication any way we can. We try to get it out through the Connect Ed. We use the email. There'll be one going out tomorrow for the high school, one the day before for the middle school. So we'll try multiple platforms so they have that information, because with our fall sports especially, we're starting before we're back in school. So we want to make sure we get that information out. So for 6th grade, it's really important. The Pro to Final Forms is one click, you can mass email. So after we have an established database, in the future we can use that as another means of communication. And another pro to it, and one thing that we are going to utilize, is you can use a text option through there as well. So the parents can get all the information as a text too, if they prefer that over an email.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
Fantastic job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.